Protesters from the Black Lives Matter movement crashing another presidential campaign event. This time, a town hall meeting in Las Vegas with Jeb Bush, interrupting Mr. Bush during a question and answer session on African-American issues. Listen.
First and foremost, all leaders, whether they're presidents running for president, city council members, mayors, governors, everybody needs to be engaged in this to recognize that this is a serious problem. Perceptions become reality. And there is racism in America. No one should deny that, although there's been significant progress. I'm sorry, I'll finish when I... Yeah, I relate to it. I'm trying to... I relate to that by saying, I relate to it by, as a president, to try to create a climate where there is civility and understanding.
Okay, so some awkward pauses there. Shortly after that, while saying hello to the people in the crowd, Mr. Bush was met with this. So Mr. Bush did not respond to the chants, but a campaign spokesman says he did meet with activists before the event started. Leslie Marshall is a syndicated radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. David Webb is host of the David Webb Show on SiriusXM's Patriot Channel, columnist for The Hill, and a Fox News contributor. Thank you both.
Good morning, Julie.
Leslie, let me start with you. How do you think politicians should handle bullies like this, trying to shut down these speeches? As you noticed, Bush sort of let the people off camera do all the talking. He didn't necessarily talk back to them. I believe he was trying to be respectful. He was interrupted in the middle of his speech, and I think he wanted to just continue his speech and maybe take questions after. What should he have done differently, perhaps?
Well, you know, this is not something that comes down to left or right, a Democrat or Republican. I think anybody who is running as a politician, especially to be the commander-in-chief, needs to command. You need to take charge of the room, take charge of the audience. And I've actually seen President Obama do this on one occasion. And the way to handle hecklers, protesters, however you want to identify them, is to let them be heard, but then you have to address it. You have to make sure that they understand that you're there to speak and that they have to give you the time to speak. And that's what President Obama did at one time, was, wait, I hear you. You're asking me a question. You want me to respond? You need to let me respond. And I think I needed to see that leadership from Jeb Bush, and I think those that look to possibly vote for him do as well. This is not a situation that's going to go away, and certainly not a situation that's going to go away in the years to come.
David, you think there's anything politicians are missing behind the Black Lives Matter slogan?
Yeah, let's start with first dealing with who they are. And what you've essentially got is a group of bullies who don't care about real issues in the black community, but advancing a narrative not much different than Occupy Wall Street and this Soros-backed, ginned-up movement. They don't care. They need politicians. They need to go after politicians. Bernie Sanders, Martin O'Malley, Hillary Clinton, Jeb Bush, Republicans, doesn't matter, because they feel the need to respond. One, handle them. Don't respond. Don't let them shout you down, move you off the stage. Deal with them directly. We've got a situation where they're not actually caring about the broader black community, but criminals don't respond, so they won't go and protest in the hoods of Chicago or other areas in the country where there is crime going on, where more black lives are being taken. This is another one of those change the narrative leftist outfits. I've seen them in Ferguson. I've seen them in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've been in these marches in D.C. at National Action Network. They're not about black lives. They're simply about what can we do to disrupt. And for those that have gotten into this movement and really care about the community, I have a question. What are your achievable goals? What is it that you want to achieve to solve the problem? And when you look at them and you ask them these questions, they just shout Black Lives Matter.
Leslie, you're shaking your head no.
David, this is a movement of people that are angry or fed up or mad as heck and don't want to take it anymore. I think what they're doing is excellent, because there is no violence here. There is no burning. There is no looting.
I was in Ferguson,
no, I'm not,
no
David, I'm not talking
here.
about, David, my turn. Not talking
Wait,
about
Leslie,
Ferguson.
finish your thought,
We're not
David,
talking
and then
about
David,
Ferguson. We're talking. what we are talking about, you're attacking the group that are promoting Black Lives Matter. What they're saying is there is a disproportionate amount of violence by police officers toward African Americans. We're not seeing white people sitting in their car at a random traffic stop being shot by a police officer. And this is the anger that they've brought, I think, to the right. Venue to speak to the politicians who have the ability and the power to make a difference and to change that going forward. I think this is absolutely the right way to go.
Let me jump in for a second, because we're talking about promoting violence. And Leslie, you're talking about the violence that the Black community feels has been a victim of white police officers. But let's just talk about the violence in general rather than looking at skin color here. Violence as a whole in this country has gone up. There's been a surge in crime in several cities, multiple cities all over the country. Homicide rates are up right now. And in fact, police officers more and more are becoming victims of crimes. Let's talk about those lives. And take a look at this picture of the Trinity Police Chief's message that police lives matter too. It shows he and another officer with "His life matters" written on the palm of their hands, each with an arrow pointed to the other. And this picture has gone viral on Twitter. Police are tired of all the hate in this country. And this is a perfect example of it. It's not just Black victims here. David?
No, it's not just Black victims, Julie, and you go to what is the correct approach. All lives do matter. Live your life well. Find a way to fix the problems that do exist. Where there are bad police officers, bad shoots, you deal with it. Where there are incidences with good citizens, that happens on a daily basis. Most interactions on a daily basis with police officers don't end up in a death or a bad situation. Right. And it's okay to address the ones that happen, but it is not the larger narrative to create a permissive environment of going after those that maintain law and order in our community, regardless of color.
All right. We have to go. Leslie Marshall, David Webb, thank you both. Fair and balanced.
Good to see you.
Thank you.